goes through, that's a natural process of having to say goodbye to their child. It's when you feel. It's when you feel. And again, we send condolences and strength and love. And I know the support will come from far and wide for the parents. As I mentioned yesterday, all close family and friends, this is where you have to really hold them close. And not only to take them through the process, seeing that it's so still very much, you know, the pain will never go away ultimately, and you know, they have to take care of the funeral and all that. But I'm talking here even after post-funeral for young Joshua. That's where you have to hold on to the family, just check in, call with them, check on them every single week, and you know, it will take quite a while to process. So wanted to just establish that story. It's on page 5 if you want to read up some more. As we move towards the political football that is now CPAP, we're watching a development here where the CPAP files are now sent to the DPP. That story also on page 5. And it seems like this CPAP development, every single day there is a new layer to unfold and to unpack. Yes, the CPAP files forwarded to DPP Gaspard, a High Court representative has confirmed that the files relating to the contentious renewals, remember these renewals, the big hullabaloo is that these renewals happen on the eve of the election. August 7th, you know. Yeah? So they're asking to investigate. Again, the government's call for CPAP is to be more sustainable, to be structured. But while all this is happening, the workers, those who would have been employed under the program, are still on the breadline. Still, there is uncertainty as to when this is going to restart. And while all this is happening, our space, our community is overgrown. Yes, I would have mentioned that sometimes we have to take matters into our own hands, but we have to be real. This is Trinidad and Tobago. This is where I've lived for my entire life, and those looking on, we know the culture. We know how people operate on the ground. Sometimes it's easier said than done. And there's been this reliance on CPAP and others to clean up the community. So I suspect while this is happening, and there is no clarity as to when the CPAP workers could be back on the job, the place will become overgrown. Razor grass will play itself. High bush, right? Mosquito, even though, yes, they say corporation's supposed to take up the slack, but let's be real, there's only so much a corporation could do, right? So this is one where I suggest we have to brace ourselves. And imagine, we're kind of in the rainy season too, so it's going to be a major concern, and this could also turn into a health issue, but that's a different conversation for a different day. You heard the Prime Minister last evening. She said, listen, any lineman with the enemy, I will bust your head. Not my words, the words of the PM. In case you missed it, let's take you back to yesterday's meeting there where the Prime Minister was very, very vocal and very strong in her position as to those in her party. Anytime you jump out yourself, she says, this is not the Kamala of 2010 to 2015, this is a different Kamala. Let's take in the Prime Minister from last evening.
And tonight, I'm warning some persons, you know who you are. You're already cavorting with the same crooked contractors and lawyers and P&M financiers and corrupt fake elite. Get yourselves out of that now, because I will come for you. I'll come for you, and I have the AG backing me up. I will come for you. Stop it. You have already forgotten the loyal rank and file UNC people who worked hard to put you in office. Remember that. Remember that. I will ensure we cannot replace one corrupt bunch and then Trump and follow suit. The AG likes to say he will go to war with you. But if you continue that kind of behavior, patterning from the PNM, I am not going to war with you. I'll bust your head, should you do it. I'll bust your head. Lyman and Hyatt, Lyman in some restaurant up in town, people would never sit at the same table with you. You are now seen in Port of Spain, sitting at those tables. Learn your lessons. They will carry you, but they will not bring you back. Consider this as a warning tonight. If you continue, I will publicly call you out one by one in front of the UNC membership. And don't ever believe this Kamala 2.0 is not the same Kamala 1 from 2010, 2015. It's not the same. Not the same. Not the same. You're dealing with a person who has learned from mistakes. And I tell you, I will not lose my pathway.
Well. You heard it from me. No AI there. That's the real deal, she says, the Prime Minister, that is. It's Kamala 2.0, not 1.0. This is the bust your head version, Trinidad and Tobago. And I wonder ultimately, you know, when we hear utterances of the nature that we experienced last night, you ask yourself two questions. Is this authentic? Is it really that she will indeed call people out? You know, there are folks who, she says, having big meeting in restaurant and meeting in Hyatt, probably in a little corner. And if indeed that's the case, well, I guess she will, you know, do the needful and expose those who are partaking in such action. Or is this sometimes smoke screens and mirrors and distraction? And sometimes, you know, you create something that it's not there to shift the conversation in a different direction, because many are asking this morning, who could these people be? And what's the, you know, the deeper backstory? But I guess when we open up the lines, I want to give you a chance to weigh in, because I don't want to speak out of turn at all with this development. I myself was rather surprised when I heard the bust your head argument. The last time I heard of busting anybody's head would have been Marshall and Bungie with that nice Juvie song from years ago. And thankfully, I don't think anybody had got bust per se, but nonetheless, let's take a pin and let's transition to the back page. We'll come back with that story when we open the lines after 7, I guarantee you. I can't wait to hear from you. Blackman and Zuri fourth started off really nice. And from what I understand, they kind of fade in the last 50 in the pool. So this is action from the Junior Pan Am Games. It's happening in Paraguay. And listen, we have to recognize our athletes. They are tremendous, but this is the world stage, and they're really coming up against the very best. And then listen, it's only iron will sharpen iron, right? I think it's always good when you go up against sometimes competition that might be a notch above. It will push you to do your best towards greatness. And I have no issues and no problems with Blackman and Zuri. I think they will come into their own, and look out for those names. They're going to be champions. They will be champions, and they will continue to make us proud. So hard luck, guys. Fourth place, not in the medal standing. As I understand from the news report, they really went well, but in the last 50, they kind of fade. And then, of course, floating by some action here from Defense Force, lifting another, well, I mean, doing well, because the men did their thing on the Tier 1 and Tier 2 side, and this particular tournament, I must say the 3 Ws final. Well done, Defense Force. They won 3-0. Again, titles on the men's side and on the women's side for the Defense Force teams. Congratulations. So, Puran is in the brief with some of the youngsters who went up to TSTTs, trainees, kind of nice internship that's going to transpire from now to the end of August. From what I understand, thousands applied, but 600 got through, and they are off to it. From today, I guess, who will, you know, get the little training in sales and who will get the training on the technical side. But Puran, who is a TSTT brand ambassador, he inspired the trainees to dream big, just like himself, because Puran, I can safely say, from my interactions, really amazing guy, and he's been, you could safely say and see for yourself, a big dreamer, having his particular ability, working hard, putting in the effort, and Puran is now on the global world stage when it comes to cricket, a brand name, you know, a real big man in the realm of the cricket. All right, so well done, and of course to the acting CEO, Keno Cox, and all those who made this possible, congratulations. Well done, well done. Gary Griffith joins me, and he's wearing his political hat this morning. Coming in as the political leader of the NTA, we're going to address the first 100 days in office. We're going to address the crime approach, just the political landscape, and well, I wonder if Gary know who headed the Prime Minister wants the boss. I know at some point she wanted to probably, but anyway, let me stick a pin there for now. Myself and Gary, we're going to have a very vibrant conversation when we come back. See you soon.
Built to Last has a massive sale on roofing materials, including standing seam. Invest in durable roofing sheets at unbeatable prices. Choose our supply and installation package and enjoy huge savings on your roof. Quality materials, quality prices, quality workmanship. Our name says it all. Built to Last, for roofing that is built to last. We will not be beaten on price. Enjoy free delivery and free roll forming on standing seam and guttering on site. Call us now, 355-7703.
San Fernando, get ready. The Roadie one-man show is coming to the Southland. Sunday, the 17th of August at Sapa. Tickets available at all K-Squared locations. At Police by the Park, Southern Food Basket, Coffee Street, and San Fernando. Sapa box office from the 14th of August and Island Eat tickets online. For more information and box office inquiries, call 682-0467 or 683-4843. This show is strictly 18 years and over. The Roadie one-man show is heading to the Southland.
So I hear Better Homes has the best kitchens.
You heard right. We have Shaker style, modern Euro, and hardwood.
I like this one. Can I test it right here, right now?
Sure, but how are you gonna do that?
All right, you all, come inside. Are you ready?
Time's alive!
Oh, a spice rack.
Soft closed door hinges. Oh, this countertop's nice, well.
It's hot, you know.
So, what do you think?
Well, this
100%.
is it. I'll take it.
Build the kitchen you love for less at Better Homes, Caroni or French Street.
The detergent smells nice while washing, but when you use the new Downy Intense fabric softener, with its new multi-capsule fragrance, it releases an intense scent that lasts twice as long. With the new Downy Intense, you'll enjoy a rich and delightful fragrance that keeps you feeling fresh 24/7.
Before we bring Gary Griffith into the discussion, we want to again get some perspective from the meeting, from what was delivered via the PM, and we will build our discussion going forward. So again, just to give some perspective for those who did not get a chance to see or to hear last evening's meeting, let's hear from the PM, and then we'll bring Gary Griffith into the discussion, the political leader of the NTA.
Over the past week, I mandated that every minister, every MP submit a comprehensive report of their first 100 days to my desk, detailing the work they did, the achievements, what they delivered, projects launched, and the timelines ahead. And I say thank to them. Each minister will be accountable directly to the population for their performance over that 100 days. No one, and I say no one, is going to be allowed to hide behind me if they do not perform. Every man and woman in this government will have to face you, will have to face our citizens and explain their actions or their inactions. I am done carrying water for everyone else. You wanted a job, they wanted a job, then do your job. I call upon you, do your jobs, do your jobs.
Political leader of the NTA, Gary Griffith, joins me on the Zoom line this morning wearing his political cap. I probably thought he would have been in a hard hat because I know there would have been a point in time there might have been, you see all this bus head argument, Gary, we're hearing, I mind running you, to be quite honest, but nonetheless, you're here this morning and we have lots to unpack. Welcome as always, great to have you.
Thank you, good morning. Yeah, I could actually picture a cabinet on Thursday with everybody wearing a motorbike helmet or a TKR cricket helmet or something, just in case. But let me just clarify. I'm here, Gary Griffith is nowhere near remotely close to being the political leader of the NTA. If you recall, I resigned as the political leader of the NTA. So all the background stuff that you're seeing on social media Gary Griffith here and NTA over there. So I've stepped down. I'm no longer a member of the NTA. So Gary Griffith is more here. I can be here pertaining to dealing with that UNC, what they've done in the 100 days as it pertains to national security or the political limelight, but I'm not here representing the NTA.
Understood. So Gary Griffith, citizen, Trinbagonian patriot. Let me, as we address crime, because I know that's issue you're very passionate about, especially with the experience you would have had in service. The Prime Minister says the murder rate is down 34%. She says these are the facts. What's your take on the first 100 days of the approach to crime, criminality? We saw the appointment, a smooth appointment, a matter of fact, of a commissioner of police. Generally, your perspective on what's happening as it pertains to crime and criminality.
Well, usually a government that gets in office will need a honeymoon period. If we compare what was the concept of the UNC in the first 100 days in 2010 to what we're seeing now, it is something totally different. The first 100 days in 2010, it was very volatile. They were being attacked about the blimp shutting down, SWOT shutting down, the OPVs shutting down, Rishmi. So there was a lot of concern. What we're seeing here over the last 100 days for this new administration under Kamala Prasad-Bissessar, we've been seeing legislation to give persons a better chance of justice so that the scales of justice can be tilted towards law-abiding citizens under Stand Your Ground. We've seen easy access to be given for firearms. We've seen a drop in homicide by 34%. We've seen first time in a long time a commissioner of police being appointed without all the political bacchanal. The highest reduction in crime in the last 17 years other than my last year. So we're seeing a lot of different things that have been happening. And let me not even start about that situation, which is that I think is the big one of the country is not understanding how significant it is. Hearing the Prime Minister speak yesterday about gang-related activity and being state-funded. You all know I have been pushing that road march since I was Minister of National Security and Commissioner of Police. I fought my own government as Minister of National Security dealing with live sport. Thankfully, the Prime Minister then supported me on it, and that's why live sport went to under my ministry, and then it was removed because we couldn't bring it back. As Commissioner was the same thing. I said it on dozens of occasions. My first clash with the then Prime Minister was he foolishly stating that gang members and criminals have a right to apply to get contracts, and I couldn't believe what he was saying. What we're hearing here by this Prime Minister is something that is unbelievable. I think it's the first time we're actually hearing since a Prime Minister stated that gangs should be known as community leaders. We're actually seeing a Prime Minister doing exactly what I've been pleading for. Take the contracts away from the gangs. You know, all of this talk, the general that we're speaking about with this CPAP, all this CPAP bacchanal about how the contracts have been awarded, that is secondary to me. I'm not saying that is irrelevant because there's white-collar crime and all of that, but the primary concern I've always had is not how the contracts were awarded, but who they were awarded to. It was packaged. I mean, it could have been a fire hazard. The amount of documents I got from different law enforcement arms pertaining to gangs getting $500,000 state contracts to build a $50,000 box train, and they were using the profits towards purchasing more illegal weapons, sophisticated weapons, better weapons than the police, hiring more gang members, putting hits on other gangs to get their contracts, using the money to pay rogue police officers. This is, I think, the biggest positive that I would have seen by this government. So all of the things with crime reduction and so forth, that aspect of actually admitting once and for all that we are not going to condone the behavior of any politician aiding and abetting and supporting criminals by giving them contracts.
Well, Gary, I mean, we're quite aware, and I totally understand, because within my own political experience, that's something I would have faced, and I said, Franco men, I'm not meeting with nobody who is an underworld figure. And I held my ground, and I didn't get over the line, and so be it. But the reality is, intimidation is the currency. Lots of times these folks, and I'm not justifying why it's done, but the reality is certain areas that might be considered sensitive, volatile. How could we bring personalities or personnel from outside the community to work within the community? Sometimes these things are done, it's a political football, political favor, to win over people, to get the vote, so that the Don could, it's the Jamaican model basically. That's what they would have used in the 70s into the 80s. But again, intimidation is the key, because if you live in, let's say, Gary, you're from Coquet, or let me say Valsayn, you're from Valsayn, and I'm from St. James. my team from St. James can't come and work in Valsayn. You will intimidate. There will be intimidation. There will be almost like I won't be granted that kind of access. So how do we fix that to ensure that the work is done and we don't put the contracts in the hands of the criminals?
Anytime we reach that point, well, I really am from Valsayn, but anytime that happens, that is where it is we have given up. We have basically stated, look, we cannot control the gang, so we have to negotiate with them. We have to call them community leaders. I remember the Minister Ron Siddon actually told me that as commissioner. He said, Gary, we're spending more money hiring police officers than it is to pay these individuals because they will be sabotaging the projects in the middle of the night. And that is where it is we started bringing police officers, putting undercover officers. You cannot, no street, no block, no neighborhood, no area must be seen that because it is our area, you can't come here. Anytime we do that, we have now, we have thrown in the towel. We've said, look, you all are in control, so we have no choice but to continue to allow you now to infiltrate the state, have access to massive funding because we know that you're going to sabotage us. That means the gangs are now in charge of the country, in charge of the government. And that, I think, it is a no-no. Having said that, I do understand that there would be concerns that if I'm living in this area, I should get something first. That is something totally different to giving a gang member a $500,000 contract to build a $50,000 box train. Because the profit that the gang member is making, that $450 profit, is not going back towards the small man in the community. It is going back to him that he's going to use it now to pay off rogue police officers, hire more gang members, get more sophisticated weapons, hand grenades, and so forth. Cut it. Cut it. When you play with filthy animals, you will get fleas. I've said it. The Prime Minister, and when people speak about our clash, Dr. Keith Rowley and myself was about, he foolishly wanted me to arrest persons in their homes, which was not within the public health regulations, and him being upset because I was giving law-abiding citizens firearms. No, it started because of the foolish nature of the then administration by sleeping with the devil. And when you do that, there's going to be a price to pay. And I kept hitting it. It was said, I said it constantly. And he refused. The government at the time refused. He even said the point that they have a right to apply because they have not been charged. There's intelligence. And so, like in the United States, there's a list of persons who are believed to be terrorists. They may not be charged, but you're not going to give them a contract to build the White House. We have to operate like that. So the statements by the Prime Minister yesterday, I think it is a step in the right direction.
Yeah. You think SRPs could be, because you said you would have sent folks undercover to try to put a halt on the sabotage. Because again, that's the reality. The reality is that, yes, every community should be a space where myself, yourself, Gary, we can go. But there are certain, I call it a state within the state. The reality is there are parts of Trinidad and Tobago where even the police, sometimes if they go, they have to go strapped up, they have to go with serious artillery and a big team to infiltrate the space. There are certain areas governed by certain key underworld personalities, big figures who have total control of whether it be a community, a block, a street, Gary. That's the reality of Trinidad and Tobago. How do we find a way to infiltrate? How do we find a way to shift the reality?
It has got to be the bigger bully. You can't, as myself as Commissioner of Police, there were 3 or 4 occasions I actually walked up in the hills in Laventille to meet Bombay. I did the same with Burkey and Sealots. I will go there and make it known, because I will do this leadership by example, and I will make it known, no area belongs to you, brother. Don't get tied up. And with that now, they started backing off to realize that the police, we were far superior. We had numerical superiority. We will outgun them, we will outman them, and that is what is required. Sadly, the commissioners before and after me never had that type of policing. This commissioner seems to have that type of aggressive approach. I'm not saying arrogant, but you need to fight fire with fire. You can't Stephen Williams your way and expect to reduce crime, because the gangs are going to see the personality of the person on top and say, well, look, I could afford to put my pressure, because they will back off. The present commissioner has to continue the same style. It is not about extrajudicial killing. It is not about us doing it to them before they do it to us. But it's to let the criminals know that the police have numerical superiority, where they are better trained and they can outgun you and outman you. That is what is required. The gangs are not stupid, but they are going to bully themselves into law enforcement if they believe that there's a hierarchy of leadership that just love to wear gabardine, walk with a cane, and they don't have that capability to take the fight to the criminals. You've got to fight fire with fire. You do that, trust me, they will back down. Because it happened. It happened in my last year. It was the lowest reduction in crime. It had nothing to do with COVID, because after I left, when they still had COVID, state of emergency, public health regulations, it was the first and the third highest number of murders in the history of Trinidad and Tobago in any month under old McDonald Jacob. So it has to do with exactly what this commissioner is doing. You have to be very tactical, very proactive, and make decisions. I mean, I would, and again, everybody has different personalities. I mean, but different personality. When it was Stephen Williams, McDonald Jacob, Earl Christopher, they may not have that type of aggression to take the fight to the criminals. The present commissioner, he has been middle management. He never had senior executive level in policing, but that can very well be an advantage, because one of the biggest problems I had was that desire for change, positive change, using technology, using 21st century policing, because of the dinosaur aspects of the very senior ones. So hopefully this commissioner of police now, not being up there, he may have that capability now to use what he would have understood and learned in that 21st century policing. Similar to Roger Alexander. Roger Alexander was never very senior in the police service. But again, when you compare Roger Alexander to Fitzgerald Hines, Roger Alexander looks like Rambo or Jason Bourne. But again, because of his middle management aspect of policing, he would not have been plagued by that old-time policing of walking around with a gabardine, sitting down and hoping that you can just go through your career with doing very little and hope that so you make least mistakes.
You know, Gary, I suspect if the stand your ground law comes to being, it will make what your I guess, where you were issuing these firearms during your tenure, that might look like child's play, because everyone and their cousin will apply to protect their home, especially with the kind of rhetoric we're hearing. And I wonder if the law and the culture within the TTPS, via the existing gun laws, if there's going to be any kind of striking of a balance, because I've heard officers for years, including yourself, mention that use of force must be reasonable and proportional. Those are the two words always used. But then you're hearing a Minister of Defense, Minister Sturge, talking about you could shoot people in the back. You know, if a man come to take your zabuka, just paraphrasing here, the vibe I get is if somebody come to get your zabuka and you just don't like what's in your yard, you could empty the clip on them. Which I know, when you do that, is not Sturge, Minister Sturge coming to investigate. It's going to be the TTPS with their whole way of thinking and understanding of the law. So is there going to be some kind of, within this consultation, the TTPS getting involved and a striking of the balance? What's your take on this current rhetoric and the public consultation and the whole ethos behind the stand your ground?
Yeah, definitely. I think the biggest concern in this government was using the exact words that we would have seen of a similar type of legislation in North America. And there have been so many negatives pertaining to it. They should have used something different. Just say that we're making amendments to the minimum use of force policy for law-abiding citizens, rather than use the stand your ground. Stand your ground, everybody believes stand your ground is like a child jumps over your wall to collect his football and you have your right to shoot him. That is not what this legislation is about. When you read the legislation, it is not about giving you the right to just kill anybody in a manner that you have all rights to kill anyone who enters your property. That is not what it is about. But the present law, the scales of justice have always been tilted towards the criminals over that of the law-abiding citizens. Because you know, as the present system, if I have a firearm and somebody comes in with a cutlass and is running up my stairs and I shoot at him, you can very well be charged for manslaughter. So we got to change it. It has to change. It must not be seen or perceived that it means that you jump. I mean, I'm sure how many of us have not taking a mango from your neighbor when you're a young child. You know, you pick a mango. You don't want to get that perception that it gives you the right. You're just there waiting to kill anyone who enters your yard. That is not what this law is about. This law is about trying to give law-abiding citizens a fighting chance. Let me tell you how bad this is. When it is somebody could have a firearm, go into your home, you shoot that person, rightfully so, to protect yourself. The police will then foolishly seize your firearm indefinitely, and now you're without a firearm for doing the right thing. Those are the simple things we need to change.
Well, I saw Minister Saddam Hussein making mention that all that is part of the consideration. But again, you're hearing folks within the government who are speaking in a conservative manner and speaking in a sensible way. But then I was really concerned with the utterance of Minister Sturge, because I mean, I'm no expert on law, but I have always heard that shooting somebody in the back, it really can't go well for the person pulling the trigger.
It can, but there are circumstances, and that's why I don't. This goes wrong to the one word that I'm going to use at the end of this paragraph. When it is that you're speaking about the right to defend yourself, there would be certain circumstances. You're in your home upstairs, 3 persons have firearms, and then one now is moving from the living room to run to the kitchen, and he has turned his back to get a better position to shoot at you. You shoot at him. You will very well have the right to have shot that person even though his back was turned, right? But those are very rare circumstances. We do not want to give it the impression that it means that if someone is running away and jumping over your wall to escape after stealing your mango, you have a right to shoot him in his back. That is not what it is about. It's a case-by-case basis, in other words. And if you're in a firefight, an armed conflict, and someone has turned to get into a better position to be able to shoot at you, you have a right to shoot at that person. So that is where the investigation will come in. But it goes back to one word: training. And that is the point that my biggest concern. The stand your ground is fine, but everybody wants a gun. But you don't want to train. 95% of persons who have firearms, they do not go on a range, they have not cleared their weapon, they will have a negligent discharge, they will have an inaccurate fire, and the stand your ground must not in any way have persons believe that you're invincible, because there's cover from view and cover from fire. So you believe right. The government says I can stand my ground. 3 people come inside with an automatic weapon and you have a pistol. You can't stand your ground. You have to know how to be able to withdraw and to find a safe house in a room with your family to keep yourself protected and using your firearm to protect yourself. Stand your ground is not one that is going to make you invincible. So that is where training comes in. You have to understand the scenario to know if to withdraw, if to cover from view, cover from fire. And all of that is where training comes in. But there's no training that takes place that is mandatory.
Yeah, training is important, and also having that, mental capacity, physical capacity. You have to do your medical to make sure your vision. So many multiple limbs of consideration before you get the firearm. But again, you mentioned the scenarios that could present itself, and you're being reasonable and rational, because yes, there are scenarios that could present itself where someone will get shot in their back. But the reality is, the man who was shot in their back lying dead on the floor can't speak. So anybody could create any scenario after it's all said and done. And I just found the utterance was a bit, for a man of such legal standing over the years, and with his position, I found it was a bit, you're getting different energies, I find, when it comes to the stand your ground law. And I think at least the government needs to be on the same page, the personalities who are bringing this forward, because you don't want to give people the impression, Mr. Griffith, that you have the firearm and oh my gosh, I feel nervous, so I'm on cuff me, right? I get a cuff, bam, bullet. That's, to me, people might take...
Somebody bust your head.
Yeah, well, God, we'll see it. So we need to get this correct, because I think people need to have a fighting chance, but at the same time, I think we need to be on the same page. I'll give you a chance to put your closing argument.
And again, going back to that, it goes back to the issue of firearms. When I issued 2,000 firearms per annum, that there were 35,000 out there, and the previous government foolishly thought that was too much. They were comfortable with the McDonald, Jacob, and Stephen Williams giving out 100 or 200 per annum, but half of that would be friends of the politicians. No, but in the same manner, you cannot go more than the 2,000. That 2,000, you're talking about a few firearms being issued every day. You go more than that, you're taking away the due diligence. We have to be very careful to the persons who are getting the firearms to minimize the problem. Again, but going back to the 100 days, I think it is a step in the right direction. I think the government could probably get a B+ for it. That National Operations Center, I think it is very critical to be established in the right manner. That can transform national security in Trinidad and Tobago. It was something recommended by the Commission of Inquiry. It will do a lot. It will monitor police officers, make them accountable. It will ensure a rapid response, a high visibility. It will ensure an immediate response to health issues, fire issues, police issues. So I think it is a step in the right direction. They're saying the right things, they're doing the right things. I don't think she wants to bust anyone's head. I think it's more a way to bust, the saying is, I want to bust your throat. Yeah. She decided to really bust your head. Yeah. But whatever it is, I think for the first 100 days, a B+ looks good.
Gary, lastly, as we wrap things up, a part of you in your quiet moments, when you process the whole elections and what transpired in the last couple of, prior to the 100 days, a part of you don't think if you had hold your hand and just play that game, you would have been on the inside at this point in time? Because I'm sure you would have received some kind of portfolio, some brief.
Well, yeah, that is what politics is about. Remember, in 2023 local government election, I was the right hand to Kamala Prasad, and certain persons had a problem with that. They saw Gary Griffith being there as a person, and all I was just doing was there to serve my country, nothing more, nothing less. I offered my services to my country as a soldier for 17 years, as a national security advisor, security minister, commissioner of police. I certainly don't need a job. I don't want a job, but I am willing to help the country. I offered my services to a prime minister after I left as commissioner, and in a very childish manner, he said, I don't want you. And then you took McDonald Jacob and you get exactly what you deserve, because God doesn't sleep. With this government, I wish the government the best. I would expect all law-abiding citizens, regardless of your political affiliation, to want a government to succeed. That is my intention. There's a lot that can be done. I mean, even as I said, the drafting of the 3 ministries, I drafted it. There is a definite silence of the Ministry of Justice and the Ministry of Defense. And I know those are powerful ministries that can do a lot to transform national security. So if at any time the government needs any help, I'm a phone call away.
Gary Griffith, always a pleasure and treasure. All the best. Be safe.
Okay.
Yeah, so again, no longer with the NTA, and it's true, I think he really did mention that, but sometimes dynamics are always changing in the politics. So I thought he was probably back in the fold, but it's confirmed he is just at this point in time Gary, citizen, and he, I guess with his years of expertise within the space, giving that perspective as always, and we thank him for coming on. We take another quick pause, very quick, and we come back and touch base with the president of the Prison Officers Association. He's going to join us sometime later on, so we'll come back, probably do some housekeeping, but we expect before 8 o'clock to get the perspective from the prison service concerning the first 100 days and their recommendations. See you soon.
Welcome to ABC Doors and Windows, TNT's #1 destination for the best quality and widest variety of doors and windows. Enhance your space with our premium wooden, steel panels, fiberglass, and steel security doors, complemented by our aluminum, UPVC, and steel windows. Shop for the best quality and service at ABC Doors and Windows. Visit our impressive showroom at 1 Chancatrace, El Socorro South, or call 638-7184 to get started. Trust ABC for a better choice.
Inside every cell is a metabolic engine AMPK. Berberine Plus helps ignite that engine, turning sugar into energy and fat into fuel. Whether you're managing sugar or trimming fat, Berberine Plus supports your goals naturally. Berberine Plus, now available at Pennywise and leading pharmacies nationwide.
Basket Marketplace is celebrating our 34th anniversary for the month of August, and you're invited. Massive deals like big deal peas and carrots, big deal kidney beans, buy 3 tins, get 1 free, Port Royal oil, 900 ml, buy 3, get 1 free, buy 12 packs of toilet paper, and get a pack of napkins free. Come and shop to win in one of our 34 shopping sprees. Big giveaways and free hampers to be won, only at Food Basket Marketplace, Orima, Chaguanas, Champlain, and Goldfield. Food Basket, where shopping is a pleasure, and the price is right. Food Basket, the nation's #1 supermarket.
Get the best in affordable eyewear. Frames with blue filter lenses and eye exam, $399. Single vision lenses with transitions on designer frames, $799. Progressive transitions with designer frames, $1,399. Happening only at Seaview Optical. Affordable eye care for everyone.
So we still anticipate and stand by for the presence of the Prison Officers Association, their president, Jared Gordon. We're still trying to make that happen. If not, we will definitely put that off for probably tomorrow or later on this week, because the perspective from the prison service is a very important one. I could tell you, they're not mixing words and they're not stuttering at all. They want a total closure of the remand yard there. Never remand yard. I grew up years, I have to be real, I grew up people used to say Riemann yard now, and like Chester draw, but it's chest of drawers. You know, we have our way of speaking in Trinidad, but nonetheless, Remand, those who are in Remand, that facility is centuries old, from colonial times. And Carrera, which is the prison down the islands, they're calling for total closure of those two facilities. So once we get a chance to touch base with President Gordon, we will expand on that talking point. Again, Riemann, never Riemann. I tell you for years, in Riemann yard. Who's Riemann? Anyway, let's move now. As we head across to our health tip, it is Compliments Omega XL. Enjoy.
The Daily Health Tip, brought to you by Omega XL, where health is wealth.
Did you know chronic inflammation can lead to insulin resistance and diabetes? That's right. Chronic inflammation, a long-term physiological response to harmful stimuli, is not just a minor annoyance. It's a potential precursor to a host of serious health issues, including insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, and pancreas-related problems. Chronic inflammation, as the name suggests, is not an acute, short-term response to injury or infection. Instead, it's a slow, insidious process that can persist for months, even years. This ongoing inflammation can wreak havoc on your body's systems, including the intricate mechanisms that regulate blood sugar. Now, let's shed some light on how chronic inflammation can lead to insulin resistance. Under normal circumstances, insulin, a hormone produced by your pancreas, helps transport glucose into your cells, providing them with the energy they need. However, chronic inflammation can interfere with this process. It can make your cells more resistant to insulin, making it harder for glucose to enter your cells. As a result, blood sugar levels in your bloodstream can rise, setting the stage for diabetes. But that's not all. Chronic inflammation can also directly impact your pancreas, the organ responsible for producing insulin. Prolonged inflammation in the pancreas can damage the insulin-producing beta cells. This damage can reduce insulin production, exacerbating the problem of high blood sugar and worsening the state of diabetes. Moreover, chronic inflammation can contribute to what's known as pancreatic beta cell exhaustion. This condition leads to impaired insulin secretion and further disrupts glucose regulation, pushing the body further down the path towards diabetes. Chronic inflammation can also increase the risk of pancreatitis, an inflammation of the pancreas. This condition can damage pancreatic tissue, disrupt insulin production, and further compound the problems associated with diabetes. Understanding the connection between chronic inflammation and diabetes underscores the importance of managing inflammation. Lifestyle changes such as adopting a balanced diet, engaging in regular exercise, and managing stress can all play a crucial role in reducing chronic inflammation. And in some cases, medication may be necessary. Of course, if you have any concerns about chronic inflammation, insulin resistance, or diabetes, it's important to consult a healthcare professional. They can provide personalized guidance and help you take steps to protect your health. In conclusion, chronic inflammation is more than just a persistent annoyance. It's a potential catalyst for insulin resistance, diabetes, and a host of pancreas-related issues. By understanding this connection and taking steps to manage inflammation, you can help safeguard your health against these serious conditions.
The Daily Health Tip, brought to you by Omega XL, where health is wealth.
President Gordon, the president of the Prison Service Association, or well, the Prison Officer Association, he's going to join me, and it's a call again for prison closures. President Gordon, he's up next.
New promotions. Arima Door Center number 4, Cleaver Road, Arima, is having new arrivals and new prices. See new security steel doors, $1,900. A variety of door handles starting at $60. Bathroom vanity sets, $1,700. So hurry to Arima Door Center.
Need to upgrade to a better phone system? Contact the experts at Voice Outsourcing. In office or remote, our phone system allows you to take every call. Grow your bottom line by offering excellent customer service. Call 217-1895 or 628-8155 1182 or email today.
Is high blood sugar the root cause of diabetes? Most people think high blood sugar is the problem. The truth, it's inflammation. Insulin resistance is the root cause of diabetes. Reducing that inflammation is key. Omega XL is a natural option. Not fish oil, but a patented green-lipped muscle extractor with over 30 fatty acids, including EPA and DHA. Clinically studied, backed by over 30 years of research. Stay tuned.
Omega XL. Power your health.
At Bagwansing's, Port of Spain and Chaguanas, we are committed to providing quality products for all major building projects. Let's build together with rebars and beams, BRC coils and mats, RHS and angles, roofing sheets and purlins, lumber, plywood and MDF. Bagwansing's, building homes, building communities, building TNT for over 60 years. Bagwansing's, Port of Spain and Chaguanas, building value every day.
President of the Prison Officers Association, Gerard Gordon, joins me on the Zoom line. President Gordon, always a pleasure to have you with me, and we're getting into, again, a very serious discussion. You would have been here on set with me in the last couple of weeks. You're back with me to keep the conversation going and to really, I would safely say at this point in time, apply some pressure to the powers that be to act. We heard the Minister of Homeland Security making mention that he is concerned about Port of Spain. That's a centuries-old facility. You're also calling for the closure of Carrera. And what we understand is that it's about 75% of the prison population are in remand, going through that process of court, not knowing their faith. 25% are actually serving time, but 75%, which is a vast majority. And from what I'm seeing via the numbers, President Gordon, the state pays about $20,000 to house a remand prisoner every month?
On average, yes.
Wow. Good morning. Let's get into the discussion. So my question is, if we close Carrera and we close Port of Spain, which I have no problem with, where do we put the remand prisoners, and how soon could a construction start and more so be completed?
Sorry. Good morning again, Jason.
Morning.
The whole issue surrounding the closure of both Port of Spain prison and Carrera convict prison also hinges on our ability to build. I'm also calling for the construction of a brand new, modern facility for the Trinidad and Tobago Prison Service. It will pay dividends in the long run to have a purpose-built facility constructed. Reasons being, when you look at not only the field infrastructure, the age infrastructure, but when you consider that most of the facilities that are in use today, most of them didn't start off being prisons. When you look at the Eastern Correctional and Rehabilitation Center, that was a whole warehousing complex.
Does he want opposite Santa Rosa Heights?
Correct is right.
I remember they used to build cars there in the 80s. They used to build Bluebirds there. I remember that distinctly. Is that facility fit for purpose? What's the condition like inside there?
If you remember, Jason, that facility was utilized with the first SOE, well, not the first, but the SOE that would have happened, I think it was 2011.
Yes.
We had that SOE. It was utilized, it was put together very quickly using containerized construction for the cells and cellular confinement and offices within the warehouse. The thing about it is that the state would have paid $230 million for that facility. And I don't know how much more was spent outfitting it. But the thing about it is that it was never designed to be a prison in the first place. And to have it retrofitted to be a prison, we are seeing the difficulties now with the facility not even having a ration room for meals to be prepared. It doesn't have a laundry.
So there are a whole host of issues surrounding continued usage of facilities like that. The old Golden Grove prison as we know it, that used to be an old army base, if I'm not mistaken. The remand yard at Golden Grove, I remember being told that they used to store the old voting machines in that building. And so we have this rollout of facilities that were not intended to be. Modifications, of course, were done, but modern correctional design, infrastructural design has gone ahead by leaps and bounds. And we have to understand that the infrastructure plays a very important role in how effective and efficient the Trinidad and Tobago Prison Service could be in discharging our duties and responsibilities to the state.
President Gordon, I want you to stick with me. We want to head across to the 7 a.m. news update. And after the news update, let's continue this conversation, because I guess the question is, where is earmarked? Where is the land? I know there is a piece of land there. I see it from the highway on the northern side. Big piece of land before you see Maximum. I don't know if that could be a suggestion, but let's develop on it some more after the 7 a.m. news update. Stick around.
Certainly.
Big ambition starts with clear vision. This back to learning season, Rera Optical has eyewear packages for every learner. For kids 15 years and under, get a free frame with lenses starting at just $495. Scholars, it's time to level up your look with frame plus lenses from $750. Lifelong learners, purchase any frame $1,099 plus and unlock up to 30% off premium lenses like Eisen, Varilux, and Transitions in 8 bold colors. And don't miss your chance to win a $1,500 learning supply voucher or transition lenses when you purchase any eyewear package. Ferrera Optical, big ambition, clear vision. Visit us in store today. This promotion is NOCB approved.
Struggling with heart health or frequent migraines? Discover the simple steps to reclaim your energy and vitality.
We're diving into a topic that affects about 422 million people around the world. Diabetes.
Tune into Wellness Unlocked, the series that delivers expert advice, practical tips, and inspiring stories to help you take control of your health and well-being. Your health matters. Don't miss Wellness Unlocked. Watch now on CNC3 and take the first step toward better health.
Good morning, I'm Ryan Beachy with headline news on CNC3 and the TBC radio network. Relatives of a 14-year-old girl who was beaten by an alleged arsonist are calling on the man to surrender. Police say before allegedly setting the house on fire around 9:45 p.m. on Saturday, the man beat Elaine's 14-year-old daughter and also attacked her mother at their Gamble Street Extension, Siparia home. The mother suffered burns but managed to escape through the bushes. When police arrived at the scene, the suspect was nowhere in sight and the entire house was destroyed. Elaine's stepfather, who lives nearby, spoke to CNC3 News at the scene, saying he knows the suspect.
The most I could tell him is to give up himself. You understand? He do you wrong and he had to pay for the consequences he do. But I'm sorry to see, well, it reached to that now, because he and all going good. He now done Billy house, he doing good and thing, and to leave give up everything for what?
Former Chief of Defence Staff Carl Alfonso is concerned about the granting of leave and its subsequent recall for a senior member of the Defence Force and believes it warrants a deeper investigation. And the former National Security Minister says the accumulation of nearly 2 years in time off is also quite puzzling. Alfonso was commenting on the leave granted to Lieutenant Colonel Keston Charles. A media report said Charles was sent on 605 days leave, prompting concerns as the country is under a state of emergency where regiment members have increased powers. Alfonso believes that scenario should not have occurred, and he says Charles's leave being rescinded a day after the matter was reported in the media is also cause for concern.
What my position would be, haven't read, haven't seen anything in the paper. This whole situation needs further investigation because it confuses most people. And I mean, I've been getting a lot of calls. from a lot of the old retired soldiers want to know what is going on. And it can have a not so good effect on the morale of the force and on the regiment in particular.
Tobago East MP David Thomas says the Prime Minister is likely to visit the island before the end of the month. He told CNC3 News the visit is on the horizon, with several government ministers expected on the island in the coming weeks. Thomas said the plan is to schedule the trip before Parliament reopens to allow for consultations on the proposed Stand Your Ground legislation to be completed. He said these discussions will help guide debate when the bill is brought to the House. Thomas added the timing will coincide with other ministerial visits planned between now and the end of the month. So far, several ministers, including Jaylene John, Dr. Rudal Munilal and Dr. Lakram Bodo, have made official visits to Tobago. Those were your 7 a.m. news headlines. We'll have another news update for you at 8 a.m. on the TBC Radio Network.
President Gerard Gordon stays with me on the Zoom line. We started the discussion inside the last hour. We continue here after 7. Now, President Gordon, I was in a line recently and some friends were suggesting, well, not friends, acquaintances, they were saying that prisoner no higher to no luxury, let the prisoners endure the hardships of Port of Spain prison of Carrera. And I told them, I said, okay, that might be the case, but you have to consider there are prison officers who also work in the space. And, these buildings, yes, you don't want the place to be comfortable. It's not a lounge, it's not a yoga room or a spa, but it needs to be fit for purpose. With that being said, in the current economic climate, do you think the government got the budget? Do we have the capacity at this point in time to build a new facility? One, and if so, where? Is that piece of land that I suggested there the appropriate space? Because I'm trying to figure out where exactly we could put a prison, because I would imagine folks in Santa Rosa Heights must be concerned that a prison is right across the highway from them.
Well, initially they had a lot of concern. That is why they would have built that fence. If you go up on that side, you would see that there's a fence that the residents would have requested being built. But the whole issue of where that area that you see, that fenced area, the cost of that fence area that you speak about, that project ran almost to, I think, $100 million to construct that fenced area. And the land space or area within that fence is bigger and larger than the land space that the entire maximum security prison currently occupies. So there is room there. I would certainly suggest utilizing that space. We don't have to look at constructing a new perimeter fence. That money was already spent and invested there. But going back to that whole issue, with your little lime and the discussion, the thing about it is that we must remember that prison, or people being sent to prison, we tend to lump everyone together. We lump the convicted, we lump remanded, we lump everybody into one, and that is not how it should be. You have 75% of your population being remanded, meaning they are in a pre-trial state. They have not been found guilty of any offense. And so the question is, what is the purpose of remand? And we see it, people are denied bail or cannot access bail so that they could fight their matters from outside the walls of the prison. And we have a situation where you have people being there much longer than the legislation and our law and our law books never envisaged someone spending 14 years, 7 years, 6 years on remand. The thing about it is that as long as we are in this position where the judiciary, the police, DPP office, this group continues to operate in a manner where they are unable to convert arrests into convictions, we have an issue where the Trinidad and Tobago Prison Service is now left to manage this group of people, but not in an environment which was designed for them. And when we talk about design, you are right, it's not about building a hotel, but certainly one must understand that infrastructure plays an important role in how we manage that group, and also how we manage people coming into the space. We have an opportunity to create a space that would also resound to the benefit and safety of the public of Trinidad and Tobago. And I say that any money spent to build a new facility is not just money being burnt away. In fact, it is an investment in the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Since everybody talks about the fact that what is prison, with more than 90% of the inmates, if they are convicted, finding themselves back into society at some point in time, we have a very huge responsibility to ensure that those persons are prepared and changed and reformed to once again contribute positively to national development. Hello?
No, I was going to say that I'm sure with this new construction, if indeed it is approved, it will also call for the technological advancements, the cameras, the security measures to be updated. The jammers, because I saw over the weekend you mentioned that there are men in prison, at least it was uncovered that people would have been in prison with cell phones in the amount of $11,000 in credit. I mean, you could have a conversation from now till next year with that kind of credit.
Yeah, so the thing about it is that, when you talk about the technology, building a new facility allows us to apply all what we would have learned, all what has not been working. And the current arrangement certainly has not been serving us nor the people of Trinidad and Tobago. It has not been providing a safe work environment for prison officers or the ability to have sometimes safe systems of work. I always say that prison is not, people are not sent to prison for punishment. They are sent to prison as punishment. That separation from your families and loved ones, that rolling back of some of your civil liberties. That is what happens in prison. You are not sent to prison for the infrastructure to abuse you. You are not sent for the officers to abuse you. Certainly we will have to treat with any upheavals or whatnot, but you want to create an environment that speaks to positive change. When you talk about the implementation of technological countermeasures, if we are looking at constructing that facility, it can be constructed and the layout could be one that adds value, meaning entrances, exits, the ability to install those countermeasures from the get-go. No retrofitting really will be required, since from day one, it is envisaged that you would have the jammers, you will have the drone countermeasures in place. You would be able to have body scanners, baggage scanners, and all of these items strategically placed to address some of the major issues that we continue to deal with in the Trinidad and Tobago Prison Service.
President Gordon, why? I mean, I'm just thinking out the box. Why don't we? Was there ever a suggestion to just probably have a phone bank and just let the prisoners have their conversations and you're listening? Because I know, yes, they are smart enough to change up language and talk in code. But even with the code, you're able to stay on top of what's happening, you're able to listen in. I doubt anybody could try to run any kind of enterprise if they know they're being listened to, as opposed to phones being smuggled in. What's the consideration in that regard?
You stranger would mention that there was a pilot project some years ago. I don't know who the provider was, but they did install what we would call a wall phone, similar to what we used to have back in the day. Jason, you go by the phone booth. The inmate would have had, I think, an access code his family would have been able to put credits or add credits to that particular number, that code. And so he would have, once he gets, goes out into the yard for airing, or there are certain common areas where it was placed, he could make his call, he could call his family, he could call his attorney, whatever it may be. I do not know what has happened to that project. Honestly, I don't have any details, but it stopped. I know for a fact that even some inmates had credit, and they have continuously been asking, when is the system or that project going to come back up and be ran. So that is certainly something that any new facility should have up and running. I don't think we need to go the route of having another pilot project. It was being utilized by the inmates in the space, and so it's an excellent initiative that certainly should be revisited, Jason.
President Gordon, again, sincere thanks. Let's keep the conversation going. This is probably the third conversation in about a month. So let's keep the conversation going, keep applying the pressure so we can see meaningful change.
Yes, no problem, Jason. Thanks again for the time.
Yeah, you're most welcome. The president of the Prison Officers Association, a very important voice and a very important arm of the security apparatus and the security structure. We must consider the concerns of prison officers. Yes, we know there are many who would have dropped the ball, but they are actively hunting down those people. And I think the vast majority try to do the very best under the circumstances given. So let's keep on supporting our prison officers. And I also and always call for their safety, call for their voice to be heard. Because working in that particular field, real tough, not easy at all. Let's take the pause. We come back and get into our Digipreneur. Oh yes, Karen Rose is touching base, and we're getting into Chat GPT this morning. Chat GPT 5. Full details from Karen next.
Basket Marketplace is celebrating our 34th anniversary for the month of August, and you're invited. Enjoy massive deals like minced beef, £5 to $99. Cow heel, £5 to $79.95. Nestle cream milk, 4 for $54.95. Crown, 8 kilograms rice, $69.99. Come and shop to win one of our 34 shopping sprees. Big giveaways and free hampers to be won. Shop, save, and celebrate only at Food Basket Marketplace, Oriba, Shagwana, Shafle, and Goville. Food Basket, where shopping is a pleasure and the price is right.
Loving the flavors you get with Tetley. Loving the flavors you get with Tetley.
Wouldn't you just love a cup of Tetley tea right now? Dark, strong British blend to give you a good morning boost. Or Tetley decaf, all of the antioxidants, none of the caffeine. Losing weight or staying healthy your thing? Try Tetley green tea. Get the vitamins to boost your health with Tetley super teas. Or calm down with Tetley chamomile. Wouldn't you just love a cup of Tetley tea right now? Tetley, a tea for everyone.
Loving the flavors you get with Tetley, a tea for everyone. Tetley tea.
Distributed by AMCO, a subsidiary of Ansa McCall.
So I hear Beta Homes has the best kitchens.
You heard right. We have Shaker style, modern Euro, and hardwood.
I like this one. Can I test it right here, right now?
Sure, but how are you gonna do that?
All right, you all, come inside. Are you ready?
Time to live.
Oh, a spice rack.
Soft closed door hinges. Oh, this countertop's nice, well. It's hot.
So, what do you think?
Well, this 100%. Is it. I'll take it. Build the kitchen you love for less at Beta Homes, Caroni or French Street.
Get the best in affordable eyewear. Frames with blue filter lenses and eye exam, $399. Single vision lenses with transitions on designer frames, $799. Progressive transitions with designer frames, $1,399. Happening only at Seaview Optical. Affordable eye care for everyone.
Eye care tips for Seaview Optical. Eat well. Good eye health starts with the food on your plate. Nutrients like omega-3 fatty acids, lutein, zinc, and vitamin C and E might help ward off age-related vision problems. Quit smoking. Makes you more likely to get cataracts, damage to your optic nerve, and macular degeneration. If you have tried to kick the habit before only to start again, keep at it. Wear sunglasses. The right pair of shades will help protect your eyes from the sun's ultraviolet UV rays. Use safety eyewear. If you use hazardous or airborne materials on the job or at home, wear safety glasses or protective goggles.
Get the best in affordable eyewear. Frames with blue filter lenses and eye exam, $399. Single vision lenses with transitions on designer frames, $799. Progressive transitions with designer frames, $1,399. Happening only at Seaview Optical. Affordable eye care for everyone.
Have no fear, the Digipreneur is here. Karen Rose joins us, checks in from Thailand. Morning time on my side, it's close to sunset across there by Karen. Great to see you nonetheless. You're always in touch. You know, what's interesting about this digital nomad lifestyle, Karen, it's almost like you're still here. You're not here physically, but you're still very much present. You know, we utilize the technology, we have the conversations. You've never missed, even when you're in China, you still show up to the program. I hear you with Third Base on a Friday on Freedom. For those who follow you, Karen, for those who monitor your words and they're guided by your counsel, bro, you've remained so relevant and you remain in this space. And that's what technology and utilizing the tools at our disposal is all about, my friend. Well done.
Yes, thank you. And I mean, you know what? There's a video I posted just last night that's already circulating heavy right now, where one of our very own, her name is Risa Gooding, right? She left Trinidad some years ago, moved out to Israel. She has a 7-figure business that she has built and working with some of the biggest companies around the world. And that video is us talking about her being a digital nomad from Trinidad, a mother of 4 kids, and she's traveling the world. Her son, born in Israel, spoke Hebrew and had to learn English. And she's like, imagine having a child that you birthed that you can't even communicate with because his first language is Hebrew. And he had to then learn English for them to communicate. And these are the things that are happening. So again, that interview is gonna be public. Risa Gooding, mother of 4, she's in her 50s and she's absolutely killing it.
Karen Rose, indeed. Thanks a lot for that piece of info. Let's move now to ChatGPT 5. What's this? Is this an upgrade to ChatGPT? First time I'm hearing about this.
Oh, this is a major update, right? So before we jump into ChatGPT, I'll quickly say, let's give a moment of silence and RIP to AOL Dial-Up. AOL Dial-Up is officially going away as of September 30th. So I didn't even know AOL Dial-Up was still here. Most people around the world did not know, but September 30th is the official last day of AOL Dial-Up speed.
That was still around? That was still a thing?
Apparently it was. And as the date is coming to an end, that's when people realize that, okay, this was actually still a thing. But as for ChatGPT, so yes, this is a major update that has happened with ChatGPT 5, right? And the thing is that over the last 2 years, OpenAI's ChatGPT AI tool has become almost the de facto AI tool being used around the world. It is certainly the most recognizable AI tool that the regular population is currently using. And this is the most advanced update that they have done yet. And it's a major update because it changes the way that the tool actually works, how it thinks through problems, how it responds to you, and how it works through situations. So you could give it a situation or ask it something, and it can give you a full breakdown and give you options. So it's doing some amazing things under the hood. So let's talk about some of the major updates. So the biggest update right now is something that we call smarter reasoning. So it's one of the biggest updates that people are, ranting and raving about ChatGPT 5 over. And this means that it can think through problems like a human expert would, instead of just matching patterns to text. So for example, if you're working through a business challenge, ChatGPT 5 is not just going to give you like generic answers. It's going to weigh the different options. It's going to then explain its logic and its reasoning behind why you should do A versus why you should do B. And it's already outperforming the previous models in graduate level science, complex math, and legal reasoning tests, making it way more reliable for solving more complex problems.
So how I mean, like, is it making this decision based on all the information, the overload of information, and I guess it's pulling what some of the best scenarios is data, case studies. I'm trying to figure out how smarter reasoning is even gonna, again, reason and figure out this particular problem. What's happening on the back end?
The wizardry, I can't speak to the wizardry. That is the, that's the secret sauce right there. That's the Colonel's 11 herb and spices. That's how they're doing it, right? Yeah. But the end result is that it is doing it, right? Yeah. And so you see how when a big company would go to like McKinsey or any of the big firms to get any type of consulting done, that is essentially what you now have inside of ChatGPT, right? And because it's gotten even better, one of the big things that we keep hearing about with artificial intelligence tools is hallucinations, things it's getting wrong. Well, ChatGPT 5 has now been officially graded as 80% reduction in hallucinations, giving you better quality research, better quality answers. And this is huge for small island developing nations like us here in the Caribbean, because now when you have such a powerful tool like ChatGPT 5, we're bringing this conversation up because these are things that you can now leverage to either better improve your business, better improve your chances of employability, right? And you can now use these tools to start tapping into opportunities outside of TNT to then bring back foreign exchange into the country. We don't have to wait for the government to figure out their plans. We have tools in our pocket now that can do things that allow people where you don't have to even build a full-scale business. You can build a little mini freelancing practice doing something that ChatGPT allows you to do. And as long as you understand how to leverage it, you could turn this into a little business for yourself and start earning some good money on your own.
Interesting. And again, listen, I'm one to embrace the change and the technology. I try to move with the times, but I'm seeing where there is this pushback. And I think I would have mentioned this to you a couple of weeks ago, where a popular app like Pinterest, people would normally design their home. It started off with pictures of real rooms, real homes, people who have amazing creative ideas. Now you're seeing pictures there and you're seeing AI inspired. So it means that the picture you're looking at, the design you're looking at, it's not real. It's an idea that was in someone's head. They put it in. AI was able to create the vision you had. And I guess there are people's feeling in a way they're being cheated from the real deal. What's your counter to that particular argument?
Yeah, you should let it run its course. We're going to remember right now, everybody is testing out AI. And the only way to get good at AI is you have to actually use it. You have to produce stuff. So you're going to see right now, everybody is creating all types of stuff, right? And they're going to put it out. They're going to publish on the platforms. And right now it's getting traction, right? People are engaging with it. People are reacting to it. But eventually too much AI generated content is going to start to fade out. And only the really good AI content is going to stand out. The rest, people are just going to go back to, watching actual humans create or put out content. But just to your point about, Pinterest and people using these AI to decorate the rooms. The flip side example to that is using a tool like ChatGPT 5, I could take a picture of my living room or my space, and I can say, hey, I'm trying to decorate or I'm trying to design this particular space. I want to get a love seat or an L-shaped a sectional.
Yeah.
I want to put a desk. I want to paint the walls pink. Generate an image to show me how this would look. And you could take a picture with ChatGPT 5 and it generate the exact image with your prompts and show you how you could decorate your particular room. So forget the content side. Think about it just from an everyday person side. Somebody now who has no idea how to decorate a room or how things would, or how the room could look, could now just take a picture or take a video, and ChatGPT 5, because it it's the first model that can accept images, video, audio, and it can analyze all of those things and then generate a response for you and give you exactly what you need.
You know, as we wrap things up, you know what's trending? It's lots of fun these days. These are newborn interviews with the babies. They're talking to babies and babies giving a perspective on who want to go home. And I say, wow, it's the AI thing. It's just, it's an open highway for creatives and for those who think out the box. I'll let you give your closing argument, Karen Rose. Go ahead.
And you know what? I want to end with this. Don't just think of ChatGPT or these AI tools as just something to just generate, random content. These are thinking partners. You need to approach ChatGPT and all the other tools like this is another human inside the room with you, working with you, that can process data faster than you, that can crunch through, 1,000-page PDF and chew through that in 0.5 seconds, if so long, and give you exactly what you need. If you start to treat these things like the thinking partners that it is, you yourself, a person of just one, right? Sam Altman and a few CEOs are now saying that with the AI tools we have available, we are going to see the first billion-dollar evaluation company that only has one employee, which is you, and you just using the tools available to you. That is what we are seeing. That is what is going to come. This is the opportunity for us in the Caribbean to start leveraging the tools, generating foreign exchange, because we now have the skill sets to bring that money in. That is where our focus needs to be. We can't just rely on the government's plans to bring money in.
Karen Rose, as always, all the best. Keep it safe, and we'll touch base Godspeed next week.
Take care, Jason. Next week.
Have no fear. The Digipreneur is here. ChatGPT 5. Check it out. Brand new. The ChatGPT Reload. We take a very quick pause. We come back. John Mark is up next with our World Weather Up. Stand by.
Where does disease start? It often begins silently. No pain, no symptoms, just inflammation quietly damaging your body. Our choices: food, stress, pollution, all feed inflammation. Chronic inflammation is the root cause of many modern diseases.
You can't go back in time, but you can start addressing inflammation before it becomes disease.
Omega XL is a natural inflammation fighter clinically researched with over 30 fatty acids and no fishy aftertaste. Available Caribbean-wide at pharmacies and health food stores. Call 1-868-225-0410 for more information.
Magical Expressions Limited is the largest local importer and distributor of fresh cut stems, offering the widest range of beautiful flowers at the most affordable prices. Call us today at 701-6488, 701-6680, 728-6786, or visit our website to order.
Chiclesia Limited, the Caribbean's largest manufacturers of plain and printed paper bags, leaders in plastic bags, vermicelli, split piece powder, and greaseproof paper, ideal for doubles, french fries, and sandwiches. Supplying stores nationwide. For quality products, trust Chiclesia Limited, 665-3336.
Get the best in affordable eyewear. Frames with blue filter lenses and eye exam, $399. Single vision lenses with transitions on designer frames, $799. Progressive transitions with designer frames, $1,399. Happening only at Seaview Optical. Affordable eye care for everyone.
Welcome to Holiday Inn Express and Suites.
Do enjoy, Stacey. You want some coffee?
Can I have a bit?
Perfect then.
That's exactly what we need.
Hey, the pool is this way.
Whatever you're here for, we're here for you. Stay smart at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites.
Up next, let's check in with Jean-Marc, who got our world weather wrap under wraps. Jean-Marc, good morning.
Good morning. In today's weather wrap, we head over to Italy, where firefighters continue to battle the forest fire in Vesuvius National Park. Firefighting operations are currently underway, where reinforcement teams from the Tuscany region are operating. The firefighters' air fleet, consisting of 5 Canadair aircraft and an S-64 helicopter, is working in these areas, while 70 firefighters are operating on the ground with 18 firefighting vehicles. Over the past 3 days, the National Fire Brigade has been engaged in intense operations to combat the widespread forest fires raging in the Vesuvius area. Overall, the National Air Fleet performed over 600 water and foam drops for a total of 110 flight hours. Now let's head over to the United States, where the Nebraska State Penitentiary in Lincoln was damaged after this storm over the weekend. Security video shows it aggressively ripping off the facility's roof. The head of corrections for the state said that a multi-agency team came together to ensure everyone at the prison was safe. Officials say the damaged roof displaced almost 400 prisoners. Now let's take a look at our local forecast for today, where we can expect generally hot and sunny conditions despite 1 or 2 passing showers over both islands. There's a really low chance of the odd thunderstorm during the afternoon and favoring western coastal areas, but again, that chance is very low because today an increase in Saharan dust is expected. This dust surge will be short-lived though, because the dust is expected to decrease by Wednesday evening. That's all for today's weather wrap. Back to you.
Jean-Marc, sincere thanks as always, keeping us in the loop. Let's take the pause and we come back. I'll try to give you a chance to get in. Open forum. We open the lines and I want to hear from you. It's up next.
Shop Southern Food Basket Anniversary Specials. Orchard 250 ml assorted, 5 for $19.95. Chubby 3 cases for $110. Happy Pasta Cuts 300 grams, 5 for $19.95. Easy Wrap Foil 25 feet, 2 for $19.95. Swiss Pouch Ketchup 750 ml, 2 for $19.95. With every $300 you spend at any Southern Food Basket, you can qualify to win a brand new Suzuki Grand Vitara. Much more prizes to be won, including Caribbean getaways, staycations, and shopping sprees.
You can make your goals unfold, go get it. You can live your dream, join the team, let's do this. You can get the help you need to succeed with Rand Credit Union. You can believe that you can achieve it. Big goals, small ones too. Rand Credit Union, we've got you. No more waiting, that won't do. Make someday today. One life, so make it good. Live the way you know you should. With Rand Credit Union, yes you could. Make someday today.
Live your best life today with Rand Credit Union.
The biggest annual dancehall concert is back. Yo, Trinidad. Magnum Explosion. Summer's Day. We head to the Queen's Park Savannah Saturday, August 16th with a brand new cast of international superstars. Lady Lava, Baker, Amani, 450, Molly Don, Skilly Bang. Tickets available at frontlineticketing.com. Cache stores nationwide. Extra Food Supermarkets. Ultimate Car Care St. Augustine. Big Life Apparel Store. New Wave Stores. Pitt Street Market, Ariapita Avenue. Marco Polo, Cipriani Boulevard. 519 Restaurant C3 Center. Fitz by Britt St. James. And P2 Lust Auto, Lady Young Road.
Loving the flavors you get with Deadly, Deadly. Loving the flavors you get with Deadly.
Wouldn't you just love a cup of Tetley tea right now? Dark, strong British blend to give you a good morning boost. Or Tetley decaf, all of the antioxidants, none of the caffeine. Losing weight or staying healthy your thing? Try Tetley green tea. Get the vitamins to boost your health with Tetley super teas. Or calm down with Tetley chamomile. Wouldn't you just love a cup of Tetley tea right now? Tetley, a tea for everyone.
Loving the flavors you get with Deadly, a tea for everyone. Deadly tea.
Distributed by AMCO, a subsidiary of Ansa McCall.
We go to Sunday dinner at our mother-in-law's house every Sunday.
At your mother-in-law's?
Yes, every Sunday.
So what's your favorite thing?
Our favorite thing. Are you ready?
Let me guess.
Yeah.
Y'all ready for this? Hang on, it's gonna be delicious.
You bet.
What is it?
It's a Steve
Don't miss the fun and laughter on Family Feud. Weekdays at 5:30 p.m. only on CNC3.
Dr. Fidel Rampersad joins me on the Zoom line for another conversation on cancer. Of course, Dr. Rampersad is a consultant vascular and interventional radiologist. Today, Doc, good morning as always. Thanks for the time. We are treating with early cancer detection and how imaging saves lives. Doc, where do we start with the discussion? I mean, obviously, early detection, preventative healthcare, that's a mantra I've heard for a long time while doing the program. But again, early detection, I guess it's really up to the patient to say something, if they feel something, to listen to their body and to just do the due diligence. If things are a bit, things feeling a little bit shaky, you come in and what does the imaging say, basically?
So basically, it's like the same as if you have and you purchase a new vehicle. So the firm advises you to bring it in for preventative maintenance, right? So when the car is working perfectly fine, it's brand new, it's everything doesn't make any strange noises, driving on the highway at risky speeds, etc., no problems. But they still have to carry the car to the firm to check, right? The reason is you're trying to pick up some problems before they become problems. So the same thing with the human body, you know, it's a good idea to be able to pick up cancer at an early stage or at a pre-cancerous stage, because then you're more likely to be able to implement treatment that would lead to a desirable outcome. So for example, let's look at breast cancer specifically, right? So breast cancer is one of the most common cancers affecting the population. It has a high impact burden on the society because up to 1 in 7 females can develop breast cancer, right? So if there was a way to be able to pick up breast cancer before it becomes manifest, then you're more likely to have an intervention, that is to say, treatment or, for example, surgery, that is going to lead to a better outcome and an overall survival than, let's say, if we were to wait till there was a lump or till there was spread. So for example, if we pick up breast cancer at stage 4, which is the later stage where it has already spread to other organs and all that, while there are some treatment options that are available and have been made available, and while some people will get good outcomes, the chances of having a good outcome is lower than if we were to say pick it up when it was a very, very small abnormality that would be seen on imaging. Now, imaging is a field that I've specialized in, and what it is using imaging tools to be able to see inside of the body. So with respect to breast, we use 2 techniques, mammogram and breast ultrasound. And mammogram is a type of X-ray that allows us to see inside the tissues of the breast and to pick up 2 things, a breast mass or lump, and to pick up calcifications, which are little powdery things that could be an early stage of cancer. And then when we see those abnormalities on a mammogram, we can combine it with a breast ultrasound, the same ultrasound that we use to look at pregnancy scans. Combine to the 2, we pick up abnormalities, and then we could use that imaging, so we can use the ultrasound and the X-rays to actually put a little needle in under local anesthetic, and that's called a biopsy, and that allows us to confirm that this is in fact cancer, and therefore we can do treatment options or treatment to the patient.
Is there ever a false positive with these tests, or is it at 100% accurate?
Yeah, there's always false positive and false negative. So so false positive means that the screening test has picked up an abnormality that we say is cancer, and then it either turns out not to be cancer after doing a test, or it leads us along a pathway to do the biopsy, and then it turns out it's negative, or it's really, really early stage and probably would not have developed into full-blown cancer anyway. So that's what we mean when we say false positive. It's not that it's going to make you do all of the treatments and whatnot, and then you realize, oh, at the end of it, oh, well, I didn't have cancer. No, it's just like saying the mammogram and the ultrasound suggested that I have cancer, and then when I went on to do the biopsy or do a more definitive test, it ended up not being cancer. So that's what we mean by false positive. And when we say false negative, it means to say that the screening test says I don't have cancer and everything is good, and then later on it turned out that I have cancer. So no test is 100% sensitive or specific, which is the terms we use in medicine to mean to say that there's 0 false positive and 0 false negative. But technology has been evolving over the years so that we're getting closer and closer to that point, right? Where we're getting more accurate screening tests.
So, Doc, what's the duration of the tests? How does one even book the appointment? And more importantly, the cost factor. Because, cost is really sometimes a hindrance, and some folks don't even want to start the conversation because of fear of these tests and the cost factor that incurs.
Yeah, so for example, let's stick with breast cancer. Any woman who is over the age, some people say 40, some people say 45, but let's give a range, 40 to 45. Any woman who has breasts, so for example, and there's a woman who will have mastectomy, etc. Right? So any woman who have breasts are eligible for a screening, for breast cancer screening, right? There is, as you know, a public system in Trinidad in addition to private healthcare. And for the public system, all the person has to do is mention it to their, let's say they're in a health clinic, a health center clinic, or in a hospital clinic or whatever. They just have to mention it to their doctor that they would be interested in getting a mammogram. Most of the time, the doctor would not ask them if they want to be to do this test, simply because of different reasons, meaning that they might have protocols for them, what they need to ask the patient and send them for, because the state resources are limited. I think it's a good idea for the patient to ask and inquire from the doctor, Doc, am I suitable to have a mammogram? And the doctor will tell them, yeah, sure, so let me write out a request form. So in the state setting, you need to have a request form to be able to get, and most of the hospitals have mammograms, so Malto, Port of Spain, Arima, etc., San Fernando, all of the major hospitals have a mammogram unit, so you just go and you make an appointment. Now, a screening mammogram is every year is a recommendation, but in some places they do it every 3 years. So let's say a good recommendation is to have a mammogram every 1 to 2 years. So you might go in a mammogram appointment, doesn't mean you're going to get it tomorrow. So once you get it sometime within that year time frame, it's a good idea. If you want to access private care, there are options for you, right? So for example, if you have health insurance, a lot of the health insurance companies actually fully cover it, or some might say 80%. So you just, you go and you either try to get pre-approval where they pay for it before, or they send you to a place where you could use one of the cards, or you just go and you pay for it and then you claim back, and you might get whatever, 80% or 100% back, depends on the type of insurance you have.
But give me a ballpark now. What's a figure?
Mammogram is like different places, 300 to 500, some places charge 600. So I'd say you'll get it for about 300. 250, 300 for the cheapest, and the most expensive places, 600 to 800. It all depends on where you go. But what you want to ask for is you want to make sure that it's a digital mammogram. So this is what I'm saying. This is what you want the bare minimum, right? You want a digital mammogram, and you want it being run by a qualified radiologist, and you want it being performed by a qualified technologist who is a radiographer. Who specialize in mammography, because a mammogram is a very detailed, sensitive examination. So you want to make sure it's done properly, because some people could do a mammogram and it's not done properly, so you end up missing some of the abnormalities, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so, and then sometimes it's good to combine it with breast ultrasound. So some places you can get it the same day, both of them mammogram and ultrasound. So you do the mammogram and then right after you do breast ultrasound, because what they find is when you combine a breast ultrasound with a mammogram, you pick up more cancers, right? So you can pick up to 10% more cancers if you combine the two, especially if you have what is called dense breasts. So some people, breasts feel a bit heavy or lumpy or thick. That is usually an indication of dense breast tissue, and it's a good idea for them to have an ultrasound in addition to a mammogram. If your breasts are not so lumpy or thick and predominantly what we refer to as fatty, then an ultrasound is unlikely to be of additional benefit. So usually mammogram ultrasound combination in some places costs $600, some places it can cost $1,000.
And in that regard, Dr. Rampersad, which test incurs the largest cost through your experience, your years in the medical field? Which test, and most of which cancer really, it's one that it's a real dent on the finances?
So if you're referring to a screening test, the most expensive one would be a colonoscopy. So it involves a gastroenterologist placing a scope into the back passage and for you to receive sedation so that they can examine the whole colon, right? So that, as far as I'm aware, is the most expensive screening test. A colonoscopy could average around $4,000 to $5,000, sometimes a little more, $1,000. Right? But you don't have to do that frequently. So, every 5 to 10 years you do a colonoscopy depending on what they find. But, as we're on the topic of colonoscopy, there are other ways to screen colon cancer. There's a stool test that looks for some of the products that the colon cancer makes. So it examines the stool. So you're carrying a stool sample and it's called a fit test, and that goes to the lab. A little piece of the stool, obviously, you don't have to carry all the stool, a little piece of the stool, and they analyze it in the lab and tells you what are your chances of having it. And then you might need to have another investigation like a colonoscopy afterwards. So that's something that you utilize. You can also do something called virtual colonoscopy. If you remember, President Obama was in charge. He actually did screening test for colon cancer using the CT scanner. So you can actually use the CT scanner to screen for colon cancer. So that didn't require sedation. So you didn't have to hand over the presidency to Biden while he was undergoing sedation. Because that's the rules. So if you have to undergo sedation, or if you're doing any procedure, you have to hand over power to the vice president. So that's another one that can be used, and that's a bit cheaper. CT colonoscopy or virtual colonoscopy, that's about $3,000 compared to $5,000 for a conventional colonoscopy.
Okay. Well, understood. Again, Dr. Rampersad, always grateful for your advice, your counsel. You bring it to us in a way we can understand, and you also bring the cost factor. You brought that in the conversation today, which is very important in the fight against cancer. All the best to you.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, indeed. Dr. Fidel Rampersad, Conversations on Cancer. Very important every single Tuesday. As we look to wrap things up after the break, we will get into our social media details, do some housekeeping, and I'll try my very best to see if we can squeeze 1 or 2 calls before we wrap things up at 8. See you soon.
Something here for everyone, from baby to adult. Anything you need, it is right here at Food Basket Super 99.
Food Basket Super 99, affordable and trendy. Food Basket Super 99 Arima, where fashion meets affordability.
Magical Expressions Limited is the largest local importer and distributor of fresh cut stems, offering the widest range of beautiful flowers at the most affordable prices. Call us today at 701-6488, 701-6680, 728-6786, or visit our website to order.
Things don't always go as expected. Be ready with Trinry for auto, home, business and group life. Call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Huge insurance premium. Pay your premiums bit by bit with FlexiPay from Trinry. For more manageable auto, home and commercial insurance payments, call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Trinry, premier insurance coverage for less.
Asafa Powell, the Jamaican sprinting icon who shattered the 100-meter world record and redefined the limits of human speed, reveals the relentless drive that fuels his journey.
Omega XL, this good for your giants then.
Try Omega XL, it works.
Good morning to the students from the Diabetes Association in the building, observing the space, watching in real time what happens behind the scenes. It's always an exciting time to bring in folks, let them see in real time what we do. And I would have been inspired because I had a chance to do the same when I was going to school and when I was extremely young, and hence I'm here today. So I'm sure somebody in the mix will pursue a career in media, and we wish all the students the very best. Great to have you on the set with us and to have you in Master Control to see all what's happening. Let's remind you ways you can come and sit with me on the couch, meet me on the Zoom line. You're sending an email to tmb@cnc3.co.tt. That's our generic email address, and you're going to send our producer a nice paragraph as to why you want to come on, and we'll make the space. See you soon. Let's head to the social media details: Instagram, Facebook, and X at CNC3 News, at CNC3 Television, at CNC3 TV, hashtag TMB for X, formerly Twitter. What about the social media? Well, at least not so much social media. We're doing that there, but the mobile app is what I want to say indeed. The mobile app, it's your number one source for verified breaking news. Get the app, very much like what we do on the social media page. We put the stories there, we vet the stories, and you are on top of all what's happening, local, regional, and international. That's right. And the Guardian. Well, that's the foundation that built everything. Trinidad and Tobago Guardian, 107 years in the business. This year will be 108. We want you to stay updated, stay in the know with all developing stories. And if you want to enjoy the Guardian on your laptop, your desktop, your mobile, visit guardian.co.tt for your subscription today. Let's head across to our food for thought. Words to inspire. Tough times never last, but tough people do. Again, tough times never last, but tough people, you see people who are tough, that tenacity, that endurance, that capacity to keep it pushing. People who can negotiate the hills and valleys of life. Yeah, the hill nice, but it's the valley. When you're down in that source, that's where you have to really find that inner strength. So well done. Great words to inspire us on this Tuesday. We take a pause and come back to officially wrap things up. See you soon.
Shop Southern Food Basket anniversary specials. Chicken breast tenders 5 pounds for $149.95. Chicken wings 1 kg at $34.95. Goat stew 4 pounds for $100. Grill Master 2 pounds 2 for $99. Rich Port vegetable oil 900 grams 2 for $24.95. Perdix nuggets 300 grams $19.95. With every $300 you spend at any Southern Food Basket, you can qualify to win a brand new Suzuki Grand Vitara. Much more prizes to be won, including Caribbean getaways, staycations, and shopping sprees.
Science calls it AMPK, your body's built-in system for burning fat, balancing blood sugar, and fueling energy. Berberine Plus naturally supports AMPK, helping you feel better, live better, be better. Available at Pennywise and leading pharmacies nationwide. Berberine Plus, powerful results naturally.
We go to Sunday dinner at our mother-in-law's house every Sunday.
At your mother-in-law's?
Yes, every Sunday.
So what's your favorite thing?
Our favorite thing. Are you ready?
Let me guess.
Yeah.
Y'all ready for this?
Yeah.
Hang on, it's gonna be delicious.
You bet.
What is it?
It's a Steve sandwich!
Don't miss the fun and laughter on Family Feud. Weekdays at 5:30 p.m. only on CNC3. You tired of the same old boring drive home from work? Look no further. Get ready for the ultimate after-work rush with Freedom 106.5 FM's The Overdrive with Davey. Mondays to Fridays from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Let Davey take you on a thrilling ride of non-stop entertainment and education. He covers the topics of the day, delves into the latest food and lifestyle trends, and brings dynamic guests from exciting professions to share their professional stories and experiences. Take advantage of this energizing and engaging experience. Tune into Freedom 106.5 FM, Mondays to Fridays, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. for The Overdrive with Davey, the ultimate way to end your day with a bang. Get the story first. Want to know what's happening in news, sports, or crime? Get the CNC3 app. As the story breaks, CNC3 is there giving you the story first on your mobile device. Be connected to the most trusted and reliable news source, CNC3. Access your world with just a tap. The CNC3 app. Download it today. Make sure you have yourself a great investment week by viewing The Boss Report every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. during CNC3's The Morning Brew. You'll get sound financial advice, whether you're a new or experienced investor, when you view The Boss Report. CNC3, covering your world.
Well, this is a pleasant first for me. So many people in studio, the students of the Diabetes Association, interns, in there for the August, learning from the organization, learning from the association, getting a chance to network, and coming into the studio to be inspired. And I'm sure somewhere inside there, it's a future journalist. We have future leaders, future doctors, the full works. And I want to, again, say thank you for being here, guys. Great to have people in the studio, all Form 6 students. And I'm going to come out the shot so they could just take a pan and everybody could wave and get a camera time. Make some noise, guys, all right? Yes, man. Look at people. Wow.
Morning Brew is brought to you by Omega XL. Live long, stay strong.